Good morning. Some nasty weather to come today and also New Year's Eve. We can see a band of cloud, a swathe of cloud, and that's producing some pretty heavy rain already. It's moving quite quickly from the west to the east. The east is seeing some dry spells this morning. It's not going to last. The only good news about the next few days, it is certainly going to turn a lot milder. So you can see the rain coming in across the West Country, Wales, Northern Ireland, and slowly pushing across to parts of Scotland. Then it will clear away. We'll see some showers later on. You can see, though, there's very strong winds associated with this already. We're expecting winds up to gale force, that's 35 miles an hour or even higher. And then on this eastern side here, that's where slowly we'll see that rain coming in through the afternoon, and then it's going to be replaced by showers later on. In fact, later on, I think a much better afternoon to come, despite the wind for this zone here, Northern Ireland and Scotland and Northern England. We could see more in the way of cloud and rain across England and Wales. So wherever you are, it's going to be mild. Wherever you are, though, it's going to be very windy indeed. And then this evening, another batch of cloud and rain comes in. In fact, the winds are going to be even stronger. We're expecting gusts up to 70, 80 miles an hour. Again, the zone which is most at risk will be anywhere across Ireland, clipping Northern England as well as Scotland. Wherever you are, though, you should see some cloud or rain hanging on to some dry weather, perhaps later on in the east. And then tomorrow, it is a better day all round, really. It's sunshine and showers. Sunshine first thing for the southeast, but then another batch of cloud and rain sort of skirts the south of England and Wales, moving along this zone here. Further north, you can see, well, a better day, but make sure you make the most of it, because on New Year's Eve, it all changes again. Through the day, the rain will eventually clear. The rain's going to be heavy at times, but it's after the rain that we will see showers, clear spells, and also incredibly strong winds. Could be one of the worst storms for the season so far. So wherever you are, if you're enjoying the festivities for New Year's Eve, remember the winds are going to be incredibly strong. It's going to cause problems on the roads, poor visibility with some heavy showers, and you can see here, wherever you are, you cannot escape those strong winds. We're expecting gusts in the north, 70, 80 miles an hour, and further south also, I think, a similar sort of temperatures. At least there, if you're heading out, and as I say, it's going to be quite nasty weather, temperatures will be on the mild side. These are evening temperatures at 10 or 11 degrees Celsius, but it really is a case of showers and heavy winds in the north and heavy rain in the south. Here's your summary. Find out what's in store for the next 5 days on our website, gm.tv.
Good morning. It's 6:33 on Friday, December the 29th.
Yes, you're watching the News Hour here on GMTV, and some of the stories we're covering today. Britain is bracing itself for 2 bouts of stormy weather that look set to dampen New Year celebrations.
The new £7 million government advertising campaign to urge smokers to quit in the new year. But does it go too far?
And New York comes to a standstill as thousands of James Brown fans bid farewell to the man they called the Godfather of Soul.
But first, our top story this morning, and wild weather is expected to sweep across large parts of the country in the run-up to New Year's Eve. Heavy rains and high winds of up to 80 miles an hour are being forecast in some parts of the country. The news comes as hundreds of thousands of people are jetting away to the sun for their New Year holidays. Well, Matt Arnold is at Manchester Airport for us. Good morning to you, Matt. So some people are lucky enough to escape all of this, aren't they?
Yes, Amanda, they are the lucky ones. The celebs are all getting away. Simon Cowell, Trevor, Eve, Michael Winner, they're all in Barbados. The Prime Minister's in Miami. Of course, Kate Moss has gone to Thailand, and 3 million of us Brits over Christmas and New Year also jetting off to the snow and the sun, leaving behind this dreadful weather that Claire's been telling us about. Temporary structures are likely to be damaged over the weekend because of the strong winds. There's going to be difficult driving conditions, and all because of these 2 storm fronts that are coming along. So let's meet 4 guys who are going away to the sun and the snow. We've got Adam, Natalie, Paul and Nick. Correct. All going to... Where are you going, guys?
Quebec.
Quebec in Canada. Got to be a skiing holiday. First time for you?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Well, one of the surveys that are out at the moment is suggesting that people are actually jealous of people like you going away to such exotic locations. Have you experienced any of that?
Yeah, especially from our parents always.
Yeah, and sisters as well.
Well, it's a first-time skiing holiday for you, and I'm sure you're delighted that you're going to be missing all this lousy weather back at home. There are concerns about the Hogmanay Festival up in Edinburgh, of course, because we have the fireworks that go on at the castle and all the celebrations in Princes Street. Now, the organisers are saying there that they are hopeful that these will go ahead, but with such lousy weather predicted right across the weekend, starting from now, going right up to New Year's Eve, it's probably going to be one to spend your New Year's Eve indoors. Back to you in the studio.
Very wise. Matt, many thanks.
Let's catch up on the rest of the news with Tiffany.
Thank you. Good morning. An anti-smoking campaign that uses shocking images to convey the power of cigarette addiction is being launched this morning. The TV, billboard and internet campaign is timed to hit just as people are considering their New Year's resolutions and comes 7 months before a public smoking ban in England. And we'll be speaking to a professor of psychology about whether shocking advertising campaigns really work. That's in 10 minutes' time. That's an amazing claim, but women are being told this morning that doing housework can substantially help to cut their risk of developing breast cancer. Rachel Harrison is in West London for us. Rachel, is this a big scientific study?
Yes, it may seem like a bit of a myth, but I can assure you it's absolutely fact, and it's incredibly serious. Every year, 44,000 women in this country are diagnosed with breast cancer, and 12,500 of us actually die from it. Now, the study was taken over a 6-year period. 218,000 women were monitored in 9 different countries, and they were monitored over a 6-year period. And what they found was that low-intensity workouts are, in fact, perhaps better for you than you may think, perhaps instead of doing an hour in the gym. And, in fact, it can reduce the risk of breast cancer by up to around 30%. So how does it work? Well, it's not as silly as it actually sounds, because if you think about the simple task of hoovering, if you were to hoover for around an hour, you burn nearly 200 calories. And just think how often you actually stand in front of the television, perhaps to do your ironing. Well, I can tell you the good news is that if you're ironing, you also burn around 100 calories if you do about an hour's worth. So the good news is, perhaps, if you don't like the gym, keep doing what we do best.
Thanks, Rachel. Meat and milk from cloned animals can be safely eaten by humans. That's according to the US Food and Drug Administration. They've ruled that cloned cattle, pigs and goats produce food as safe as the food we eat every day. Their recommendation is a major step towards allowing food from cloned animals onto US supermarket shelves. Britain will finally pay off its World War II loans today. The Treasury will make the last payment to Canada and the United States today to clear debts of almost £5 billion. Britain borrowed the money 60 years ago to secure victory in the battle against Germany. 4 men will appear in court later today, accused of taking part in the 1994 Rwanda genocide. Scotland Yard say officers arrested the men in London, Manchester, Essex and Bedfordshire at around 9 p.m, following a request from the Rwandan government. All 4 are accused of killing members of the Tutsi ethnic group. The singles chart is about to change in a radical way. After this weekend, digital downloads instead of CD and vinyl sales will be used to work out the position of songs. It means that album tracks and golden oldies will be able to enter the singles chart for the very first time. And finally, the newest idea to keep your carpets clean. These natty shoes have hoovers built into their base so that you can vacuum clean as you walk. Unfortunately, they're just a prototype and not due in the shops anytime soon. That's a shame. The time is now 6:38. Now back to John and Amanda.
Tiffany, thank you. Competition time now, and your chance to win some sun, sea and sand, or alternatively £10,000.
Jackie Joseph has the details.
We are giving you the chance to win 10 nights at the 5-star Bay Hotel at Camps Bay, Cape Town, courtesy of Sunset Faraway Holidays. It's only 10 minutes from the city centre and has 4 swimming pools and a fitness centre, plus tennis and squash courts and a skin and body centre. There are also 3 restaurants. On top of all of that, we are giving you £2,000 spending money. The prize is for 4 adults and includes direct flights, airport transfers and departure taxes. Travel restrictions apply. Now, if you don't fancy sun, sea and sand, how about 10 grand in the hand? The choice is yours. It's either the holiday or £10,000. And to be in with a chance of winning either of these fantastic prizes, all you have to do is answer this question. What do people traditionally do at New Year and try to keep for the rest of the year? Is it A, resolutions, B, reservations, or C, revaluations?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
And Kate and Ben will be picking the winner at the end of today's programme.
Right now, here's what's happening where you are.
Good morning, welcome to the Breakfast News from ITV Granada. First, bad weather is expected to hamper the investigation into the helicopter crash which killed 6 men and left 1 missing in Morecambe Bay. It's now 36 hours since a mass rescue operation was launched for the craft, which ditched into the sea just 500 yards short of the gas rig where it was about to land. 6 victims have already been named, including pilots Simon Foddering from Preston and Stephen Potton from Blackpool. The 7th, Keith Smith, still hasn't been found, and with worsening weather, rescue services say there's little chance of his being found alive.
It's very distressing, you know, you feel for the families. What we really want to do is either bring him back or lay them to rest.
A Manchester man will appear in court today, accused of taking part in the genocide in Rwanda more than 10 years ago. Emmanuel Nteziraya was arrested in the city last night following a request from the Rwandan government for his extradition. He's among 4 men who will appear before magistrates in London later. Police are still questioning a man over a fatal car crash in Manchester on Christmas Day. 22-year-old Dominic Gill was a passenger in a car that crashed into a lamppost on Lathbury Road in Moston. He died in hospital on Boxing Day. A 21-year-old man from Chadderton has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Finally, Christmas isn't even over, but people in Liverpool are already preparing for their next big party. The city will celebrate its 800th birthday in 2007 with a year-long programme of concerts, exhibitions and festivals. St George's Hall will be reopened after a £23 million makeover. And there'll also be an historical pageant, one of the world's largest fireworks displays, and street parties.
That 800 years has not only seen the growth of a city from a small fishing port to, at the time, the 2nd city of the then British Empire. And there have been amazing history, not only contemporary people, but throughout the life of this city, there have been some amazing people who've not only shaped the city, but shaped the world in all sorts of spheres, from medicine to the arts.
That's it so far this morning. I'll be back again at around 7:05. Finally now, though, for a quick look at the region's weather.
Relief for dry, chapped hands when they need it most. Nivea Hand SOS Intensive Balm.
A cloudy and damp start to the day, with rain becoming heavy across all areas of the region eventually. This afternoon it will unfortunately remain wet, though some of that rain should turn showery, with some sunny spells scattered in between. Not too cold today either, with a top temperature of 11 degrees Celsius, that's 52 degrees Fahrenheit.
Welcome back. Now then, it's costing £7 million and it's a real shocker. The theme of the government's New Year anti-smoking campaign is not to get hooked in the first place. But will it upset some people? Before we play it, we should say that we have edited out the most disturbing images.
Fine. Brilliant. All right, I'll see you on the 9th. OK, bye.
The average smoker needs over 5,000 cigarettes a year. Get unhooked. Call 0800 169 0169 or visit getunhooked.co.uk.
Well, that's the theme of it. Don't get hooked in the first place. And I should stress, as I say, that was the edited version, but it was still pretty shocking. I think some of you will agree. Joined now by Robert West, Professor of Health and Psychology at UCL here in London. Good to see you, Robert. Thanks very much to you for being with us. You saw this at the press conference. What was your initial reaction when you saw it?
Yeah, I was a bit shocked, actually, and quite impressed, I have to say. I think I've become a recent convert to these kinds of adverts and these kind of approaches. I like to think of myself as a scientist, and I think, you know, clinical trials, this is how you go and this is how you test things out. But more recently, it's become apparent to me that these kinds of approaches do make a difference. And you mentioned, I think, the cost of these adverts. I think they're actually potentially very cost-effective.
Because of the cost of treating people who've got smoking-related illnesses?
Yeah, and the cost of dying early.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I think we're paying £7 billion a year treating people who've smoked.
We
and
do.
7 million on the advert seems a fair return, I confess. On the other hand, you know, there are many people who will find that just unpalatable. They'll just turn away from the screen, and therefore it's not working in those circumstances, is it?
Well, actually, I think one of the good things about these adverts, they're not that long. You haven't got that much time to turn away from the screen. But there's another very important part to this campaign, which I think is very good. And that is that the second part of the sort of adverts, they have a sort of top and a tail, is what you can do about it. It's not just about shocking people and saying, this is really hard. It's also about telling them that there's help available, and it is effective help.
But, you know, I smoked for 30 years. I smoked 30 cigarettes a day for 30 years, and I don't anymore, I'm glad to say. But the one thing I balked at was being nagged at and being got at, as I saw it, by ads like that.
Yeah.
Even my wife from time to time, who, God bless her, was doing her best to try and stop me. You know, and she learned in the end, just don't mention it. And in the end, I found my own way and my own reasons for doing it. But do you take the point that people don't like feeling that they're sort of being pointed at, saying, don't do this?
Yeah, well, I mean, people don't like being nagged at, and they don't like being told what to do. But the reality is that the vast majority of smokers actually want to stop. And these kind of adverts, they're not necessarily directed at people who are not interested in stopping, which actually is very few. They're directed at people who are interested in stopping, but would stop try to stop later and later and later,
but it's
and
hard,
bring it forward.
It's devilishly difficult. I know I've been there, because you do become addicted. And I have heard, you can tell me it's right or wrong, that tobacco is actually more addictive than heroin.
Well, I mean, these sort of comparisons are a bit invidious because it's very different in a way. But certainly people who go to clinics for heroin addiction will often say that they actually find it harder to stop smoking than to stop their heroin habit. But I think that, you know, there's different factors in play. But when we talk about addiction, we're talking about, I mean, as the adverts show, it's really about a compulsion. You know, you're sitting there in the office and you're thinking, I really need a cigarette. And they now, of course, or in a few months' time, they're all going to have to go outside to do it. So that's another rather clever thing, actually, that the government has done. They've tied it in with the smoking cessation or the smoke-free legislation, because that in itself will also play a role as well.
It can be done. It's difficult, we know, but it can be done. And I speak as one. I will tell you, it is worth it.
Absolutely.
You do feel a lot better. Robert, thanks very much, Steve, for being with us.
Pleasure.
All the best.
It's 6:47. You're watching the News Hour on GMTV. This morning's headlines. We're being warned to expect heavy rain and winds as high as up to 80 miles an hour in the run-up to New Year's Eve. Forecasters say not one, but two storms are about to hit us.
Doing the housework cuts the risk of breast cancer by up to 30%, according to a significant new study.
And in New York, crowds have lined the streets to pay their respects to the legendary soul singer James Brown. And we stay with that story because even in death, James Brown can move a crowd. Thousands of people danced and sang in the streets outside the historic Apollo Theatre in New York overnight in celebration of the godfather of soul. His body was displayed on the stage where he made his debut in 1956. Well, Sarah Moore met some of those fans last night and she joins me from New York. Now, good morning to you, Sarah. Really astonishing scenes, aren't they?
Yeah, good morning, Amanda. Absolutely. The people of Harlem have never seen anything like this before, though they were warned to expect thousands of people. They knew how many people would want to go to Harlem to pay their respects. Now, earlier in the day, they all lined the streets for a horse-drawn carriage to bring his body to the stage where he made his first appearance, where he started his career more than 40 years earlier. That was brought in and then placed on the stage so fans could get one last look. And I was out with those fans. It certainly wasn't a mourning mood. It was one of celebration, celebrating his life. Fans had been waiting for up to 8 hours, queuing around the block, but despite the cold, they were all in very high spirits. They just wanted to share their memories. They wanted to sing his songs. They wanted to do his dance moves. They just wanted to talk about him. People kept driving past in their cars with their music blaring from the stages, from their stereos, just to entertain the crowds. And the people of Harlem, that's what they wanted. They said James Brown would have wanted a celebration after his death.
This man is appropriately named the Godfather of Soul because he has tapped the soul of so many people.
How long have you been standing out in line?
Oh my God, say 5.5 hours, but I'd do it again.
And he was a great artist of making soul songs.
I'm just glad to be able to pay tribute to such a great person.
And Sarah, do we know how long his body will lie at the Apollo?
It's actually being moved later today. It's being taken back to his hometown, being flown there for a private ceremony with his family, and then it'll be on display again at the James Brown Theatre in his hometown for more people to pay their respects.
Yeah, Sarah, I was watching that with great interest, and you know, he's a classic case of an American who came good, isn't he? Because he had a really tough upbringing, James Brown, born in poverty, and some criminal background too.
Absolutely, but people still saw him as a hero despite obviously quite a colourful past. People I spoke to, they said it was that inspired them, that he did have a colourful past, but they could relate to that. They knew that he was just like them. They could still be inspired by him, and that's the general feeling. But it's quite interesting, when I was talking to some people, they pointed out to me that even after he was released from a 6-year jail sentence on parole, the year after, he won a Grammy Award for his lifetime achievement. So it just shows that he really was one of the most hard-working men in showbiz, and certainly a hero in so many people's eyes here today.
Sure, man, classic triumph over adversity story. So that
and
was
people
James.
of all generations there out on the streets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sarah, many
Iconic
thanks for
figure.
that.
That's just about it from the two of us. Amanda and I, I'm sure, would both like to wish you a very happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you in the new year, in 2007.
And I think Kate and Ben will be talking about your New Year sorry messages. We'd like you to send those in. They'll be reading them out on GMTV today a little later on.
But right now, let's catch up on the rather stormy weekend weather with Claire.
Hello, good morning. Now, some nasty weather on the way. In fact, it's already arrived across parts of Ireland, the West Country and Wales. A lot of thick cloud over us. That's producing some outbreaks of rain moving in across the west there. It is also bringing some higher temperatures. In fact, it's going to turn mild over the next few days. The rain will turn to be heavy over the next few hours, and it will be moving from west to east. So most of us getting wet through the morning into the afternoon. Associated with that, some gale force winds, particularly in the west and the southwest. But it's going to be windy everywhere, hanging on to perhaps some dry weather initially, but then it will clear away, this rain, clearing across much of the country, away from the far north of Scotland, and then we're in a sort of a showery regime. Later on, we could see more in the way of cloud and rain move into the southwest as well as the Channel Islands. It's going to be windy everywhere this afternoon, but look at those temperatures into double figures. And then tonight, another batch of cloud and rain comes in. In fact, the winds will pick up even further, up to 70 miles an hour. They are gusts, particularly across this zone, anywhere from Ireland up towards northwest England as well as Scotland. So some damaging gusts this evening, overnight. It will cause problems on the roads, and there will be some, well, maybe broken branches, etc., from the strong winds. So that's the showers and the rain today and tonight. So more nasty weather on the way tomorrow morning for the southwest. An area of cloud and rain moves in. It will skirt along the southern parts of England and Wales. Elsewhere, it really is a case of sunshine and showers, and these temperatures not too bad at all. And then New Year's Eve, or New Year's Eve during the day, it's going to be windy. We are expecting gales, and we're expecting some heavy rain. The heavy rain should clear away by the evening. It's going to leave in its wake showers and some clear skies. But then the winds really pick up. And in fact, when we say pick up, I think gusts could actually reach 70, 80, perhaps even 90 miles an hour across central and northern areas of Scotland, southern parts of Scotland. Heavy showers as well. A similar situation for Northern Ireland. Some gusts up to 60, 70, perhaps 80 miles an hour, as well as northern England. In between, you'll see some heavy showers and some clear skies. But further south, you continue to see that rain, the rain clearing away from Wales. So you could see some dry spots, but it's going to be very windy here. Gale force winds here. Gale force winds across the Midlands, East Anglia, down towards the southeast, and temperatures will be on the mild side. This is around sort of 9 o'clock to midnight, so you can see if you are out and about across sort of southern areas, it's going to be very, very wet indeed. Take an umbrella, but at least it turns a bit better on New Year's Day. Here's your summary. For your local 5-day weather update, visit our website, gm.tv.
Good morning. Healthy housework. Hard to believe, but doing the chores cuts the risk of breast cancer.
Say sorry. Why now is the most important time of year to apologise?
Darling wife, I'd like to sincerely apologise for not doing anything over Christmas.
And Happy New Year, almost. We're going to be finding out where the A-listers are celebrating Hogmanay. That's all to come Friday, the 29th of December, 2006. Hi there, you're watching GMTV today. It's approaching 7 o'clock.
Yes, now saying sorry. We're all supposed to be nice to each other at this time of year, aren't we? After all, it's a season of goodwill.
It's supposed to be.
But yes, indeed. The reality is, though, we all too often end up arguing and rowing and generally being miserable.
Yeah, the whole family around, all that
Actually,
pressure.
that was a very household yesterday.
Was that a
Touch
few...
of scratchiness.
Touch of scratchiness.
Touch of scratchiness, yes, has to be said.
Post-Christmas come down.
Post-Christmas blues, yes, all of that kind of stuff. So if there's someone that you need to say sorry to, sorry husband, I'll start, then do let us know. Email or text us on 81189 and we'll broadcast as many as we can. We're trying to smooth troubled waters for peaceful 2007. Yes.
Clear
your deck,
to go on.
clear your conscience.
As well as that, we're giving you the chance to end the year with a bang. If you enter our competition, the winner gets to choose between a holiday to South Africa or £10,000 in cash, which I'm sure would smooth a few problems.
I think that would stop a few rows.
First of all, though, our top story this morning, wild weather is set to sweep large parts of the country in the run-up to New Year's Eve. Heavy rains and 80-mile-an-hour winds are being forecast in some parts of the country.
Yes, the news comes as hundreds of thousands of people are jetting away to the sun for New Year holidays. Matt Arnold's at Manchester Airport for us this morning. Matt, I guess there's some people who are going to see the weather forecast and be rather pleased they're at the airport.
Well, if they didn't see it before they booked, Kate, they'll be glad that they're going now. Right across the whole Christmas period, 3 million of us get away to the sun and the snow. And specifically at New Year itself, 500,000, according to ABTA, are jetting away. And they are going to be getting away from some of that awful weather that Claire's been telling us about in the weather bulletins this morning. Temporary structures could be damaged because of the weather that's coming our way this weekend. It's going to be very difficult driving conditions, and all because of the 2 storm fronts that are approaching tonight and lasting all the way up to New Year's Eve. So let's meet a family, or 2 families, I believe, who are heading away. Now, where are you going off to the sunshine?
Florida.
You're going to Florida. This is Ellis, isn't it? That's your name?
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you get there, Ellis?
We're going off to Discovery Cove on the 6th of January and
You mentioned about the dolphins to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Going to have a nice swim with them. We got Dad Steve. Glad to be getting away from this nasty weather.
Definitely, yes. We've had a family holiday booked for a long time, but certainly looking forward to getting away now, the way the weather's going to be.
Well, I'm not surprised you're all smiling because of what's coming our way. There are concerns about Hogmanay going on up in Edinburgh because of the lousy weather that's expected. The celebrations may be having a few question marks raised about them. That's the celebrations in Princes Street and, of course, the fireworks at Edinburgh Castle. The organisers are saying that they're hoping everything is going to go ahead, but it does look like it could be a New Year's Eve that's better spent indoors. Back to you in the studio.
Matt, thanks very much.
OK, well, let's get the rest of the news you're waking up to now, even if you're stuck here. Here's Amanda.
Kate, thank you. Good morning. An anti-smoking campaign that uses shocking images to convey the power of cigarette addiction is being launched this morning. The TV, billboard and internet campaign is timed to hit just as people are thinking about their New Year's resolutions. It comes just months ahead of a public smoking ban in England and Wales.
These kind of adverts, they're not necessarily directed at people who are not interested in stopping, which actually is very few. They're directed at people who are interested in stopping, but would stop try to stop later and later and later.
The police are to get more money to help them fight the threat of chemical and biological weapons. The Home Office insists the increased spending is simply a measure to ensure our police forces are fully equipped for any eventuality. It's not in response to any specific threat to public safety. Now, government files kept secret for 3 decades are being opened to the public from this morning. The documents are being published under the 30-year rule. They contain details about the Falklands War and Britain's determination to keep hold of one of the famous diamonds in the world, as Tiffany Royce now reports.
It was hot. Oh yes, 1976 was the year of the endless summer. Days and days of temperatures in the 90s, standpipes in the streets and drought warnings. And according to the official papers released today, things got so desperate, the government was considering using chemicals to make it rain and shipping water in from Norway. But heat wasn't the only thing on their minds. They were stuck in a desperate battle to keep hold of the world's most precious gem. Pakistan had asked for the Koh-i-Noor diamond to be returned to them, and we now know the British government had vowed to keep it, whatever it took. What else did they want to keep? Well, the Falkland Islands, of course. But according to today's papers, as long as 7 years before the Falklands War began, British defence chiefs warned the islands would be almost impossible to defend in the event of an Argentine invasion. A prediction that was to come true.
Meat and milk from cloned animals can be eaten safely by humans, as according to the US Food and Drug Administration. They've ruled that cloned cattle, pigs and goats produce food as safe as the food we eat every day. Their recommendation is a major step towards allowing food from cloned animals onto US supermarket shelves. 25,000 Britons have joined the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. They'll be among 3 million people in the city today on one of the most important days of the festival. The Hajj draws people from 160 different countries to the birthplace of Islam. Over 5 days, Muslims perform a series of rituals seeking forgiveness from God. Britain will finally pay off its World War II loans today. The Treasury will make the last payment to Canada and the United States today, declare debts of almost £5 billion. Britain borrowed the money 60 years ago to secure victory in the battle against Germany. The British solo sailing legend Sir Robin Knox-Johnson has crossed the finishing line of the first leg of a gruelling round-the-world yacht race in Australia. The 67-year-old arrived in Fremantle after a frugal Christmas at sea, eating mostly freeze-dried curry. Finally, the newest idea to keep your carpets clean, these natty shoes have hoovers built into their base so that you can vacuum your carpets as you walk around. Unfortunately, though, they're just a prototype and not due in the shops anytime soon. I wonder how they work, because if you're walking around, aren't you going to be pressing down onto the carpet?
So maybe you have to sort of do a sliding, gliding motion.
Maybe.
Some sort of dance across the kitchen floor, man.
Maybe we should investigate.
With that study about the fact that housework reduces your risk of breast cancer, will you be hoovering and reducing your risk, or
It's just
adding to your risk?
all-round good quality
Or not
exercise.
enough exercise,
Keep
though.
the house clean for your
It
fella,
wouldn't be
everybody's
good.
happy.
Right.
More news in half an hour.
Yes.
Because clearly, green shoes haven't been designed for a man, have they?
Really?
Clearly they haven't.
Why
Do you know
not? What's wrong with you
how
wearing
many-
green shoes?
I can't. There's no point me doing it in here, but I don't know one man with a pair of green shoes, whereas you ladies have shoes of all different colours.
That's
Maybe
true,
Darren on
actually.
camera 2 would wear some
God, there's
comfortable green
innate
shoes.
sexism. And Darren would. Darren cuts a dash in the odd mustard stiletto of a weekend,
Yeah,
I've
but
heard.
to be honest...
Look at that.
To be honest...
Well, yes, you stay in the shadows, young man. It's much better that way.
But literally, but I think they're a great idea. It's like that massive chamois leather baby grow that you can stick the baby in and let them crawl all over the floor and tidy up at the same time. That's a great idea.
Right, I think you need to say sorry to your wife for being so appallingly sexist and leaving her to do that.
See, so Christmas is supposed to be the time of peace and goodwill in your household to everybody.
Absolutely.
Has that been the case? Or, like most of the families around the country, has there been the odd argument? We actually had quite a nice Christmas this year. We had a lovely Christmas, but there was only 3 of us. You see? So you narrowed down the
minimise the
options for
rows.
arguing. If you are at home, though, and you're regretting something you might have said, something you might have done over the last few days, well, we're going to give you a chance to say sorry on national television.
Get it off your chest. Go on. Tell us what you've done and who you want to say sorry to, and we'll try to air as many of them as we can throughout the programme. I think the idea is this is our last show of 2006, so before we return in 2007, get it all cleaned up.
Yeah,
Get all
purge
attention.
yourself of that.
Purge yourself.
07739 672 673 is where you can send your video messages if you want to put a face to your apology, if you're going to be very brave. Or you can text us, 81189. Make sure you give us your name and where you're calling from as well. All you have to do is record that message. That number, 07739 672 673. It'll cost you about 50p plus your usual picture rate.
Or you can always email us, of course, gm.tv. So just say sorry.
That's as simple as that. We're going to find out what's happening where you are now.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News from ITV Granada. First, bad weather is expected to hamper the investigation into the helicopter crash which killed 6 men and left 1 missing in Morecambe Bay. It's now 36 hours since a mass rescue operation was launched for the craft, which ditched into the sea just 500 yards short of the gas rig where it was about to land. 6 victims have been named, including pilots Simon Foddering from Preston and Stephen Potton from Blackpool. The 7th, Keith Smith, still hasn't been found, and with worsening weather, rescue services say there's little chance of him being found alive.
It's very distressing, you know, you feel for the families. And what we really want to do is either bring him back or lay them to rest.
A Manchester man will appear in court today accused of taking part in the genocide in Rwanda more than 10 years ago. Emmanuel Nteziraya was arrested in the city last night following a request from the Rwandan government for his extradition. He's among 4 men who will appear before magistrates in London. Police are still questioning a man over a fatal car crash in Manchester on Christmas Day. 22-year-old Dominic Gill was a passenger in a car that crashed into a lamppost on Lathbury Road in Moston. He died in hospital on Boxing Day. A 21-year-old man from Chadderton has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Finally, Christmas isn't even over, but people in Liverpool are already preparing for their next big party. The city will celebrate its 800th birthday in 2007 with a year-long programme of concerts, exhibitions and festivals. St George's Hall will be reopened after a £23 million makeover. And there'll also be an historical pageant, one of the world's largest fireworks displays and street parties.
That 800 years has not only seen the growth of a city from a small fishing port to, at the time, the second city of the then British Empire. And there have been amazing history, not only contemporary people, but throughout the life of this city, there have been some amazing people who've not only shaped the city, but shaped the world in all sorts of spheres, from medicine to the arts.
Should be quite a party. Well, that's it so far this morning. We'll be back with you again at 8:05. Finally, here's the region's weather.
Relief for dry, chapped hands when they need it most. Nivea Hand SOS Intensive Balm.
A cloudy and damp start with rain becoming heavy across all areas. This afternoon remaining wet, though turning showery with some sunny spells. Top temperature then today, not too cold really, of 11 Celsius. That's 52 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hi there. Now, you might find it boring, you might even hate it, but it seems that doing the housework could be good for you. New research has shown the women who do housework on a regular basis are less likely to get breast cancer. Rachel Harrison is in West London for us this morning, actually doing some sweeping, Rachel.
I know, it's a bit of a rarity, I have to confess, and I have to say, when this story broke in the office yesterday, we were talking about it, we did say, well, is the author a man? But this is incredibly serious. Every year, 44,000 women in this country are diagnosed with breast cancer, and more than 12,500 actually die. Now, the report is like no other. It took in 218,000 women in 9 different countries, and they looked at them over a 6-year period, and they found that you can reduce breast cancer by nearly 30%, or the risk of getting breast cancer if you do housework. Now, it seems a little bit silly, but it is absolutely true. And the reason they say it is because they're saying that low-intensity workouts are perhaps better than doing an hour in the gym. And if you break down the figures, it does actually stack up. For instance, if I was to do an hour's worth of gardening, I'd be looking at burning off around 200 calories. And how many of us will stand idly doing the ironing in front of the television? Well, just that simple act means you burn around 100 calories. And if you think about how many times you actually pick up the Hoover, a couple of times a week maybe, well, an hour's worth of vacuuming will burn around 200 calories. And if you live in a block of flats, or how many times you run up and down the stairs after the children when they've left things, well, you're looking at burning around 500 calories if you do an hour's worth of exercise running up and down those stairs. So if you think about the old phrase, which was, if you have an apple a day, you keep the doctor away, well, it appears a dustpan and brush could do the same.
It's great news. Thank you very much, Rachel. We're joined now by Dr. Kadhani from Cancer Research UK. It's extraordinary. It seems sort of a very simple idea, really, because it's all about the exercise. But this could be really significant, this research, can't it?
It certainly is a significant bit of research, and it does add to the evidence that we know about that being physically active can reduce your risk of cancer, and in particular, breast cancer. So it shows that you don't have to pound it out on the streets or sweat it out in the gym. Just being active at home, doing housework, gardening, walking the dog, that's really good for you as well.
And it really can be something as simple as I mean, I'm not saying that it's not hard work, but the ironing isn't necessarily something that would spring to mind in terms of being a particularly energetic form of exercise, but something like that can help.
It's gentle, moderate exercise. It's something that you're doing. It's something that people might do quite a lot, and it can reduce your risk of breast cancer. So it all adds up, basically.
Is it specifically focused on breast cancer as well?
This research was focused on breast cancer. There's other evidence we know about that being physically active can reduce your risk of things like bowel cancer, kidney cancer, and also cancer of the womb. So the news is try and be as active as you can, but you don't have to go crazy. OK,
so it's not just then for blokes to sit at home and say to the wives, come on, do the ironing, it's good for your health.
Absolutely not, no. Men can benefit from keeping a healthy body weight and keeping in shape too, and if that means doing the vacuuming, I think it's great.
Fair enough, so they can share it. In terms of sort of the other side of it, but actually doing sort of more physical terms of exercise, like running or going to the gym or swimming, are you saying that these can be as beneficial? Is that sort of thing still important as well?
That sort of thing can be important as well. Things like the health of your heart, your blood system. Basically, exercise is good for you. We know it's good for you. And this paper's showing that housework is a significant piece of activity as well, so that's also going to be good for you.
So would you suggest that people approach their health work in a different way, then rather than just seeing it as a chore, sort of, if you make it into a form of exercise, I mean, in some way, then actually you can sort of reap the benefits?
Well, obviously it's more enjoyable if you try and make it fun, but yes, being active, running after the kids, doing the hoovering, doing the ironing, it's probably doing you some good as well.
Excellent. And stairs as well, particularly, running up and
Definitely
down stairs.
stairs, yeah.
Fantastic.
That's good for you too.
Well, Kat, thank you very much for joining us this morning. If you want to know more about preventing breast cancer, just get onto the website. There's plenty of information there, gm.tv.
Now it's coming up to 7:15 and the main headlines you're waking up to this morning are that a shocking new government anti-smoking campaign has been launched. It's aimed to get people to give up before the public ban starts in England in 7 months' time. Authorities in the United States say it's safe to eat meat, milk and eggs from cloned animals. The announcement means cloned food is a step closer to America's supermarket shelves. And today's weather, all parts will have a wet and windy day with rain and strong winds across most of the country. Temperatures will peak at 13 Celsius.
Now, we have just been delivered our first apology.
Oh.
We're asking you all if you'd like to apologise for something you might have said over the Christmas period, something you might regret now. Maybe you didn't help around the house as much as you might have.
Is it an apology from Mrs. A. Shepherd? I'm sorry to inflict Ben on you every day. I promise I'll keep him home in the future.
Interestingly, no. She'll be busy doing the housework at this point. She won't watch telly.
Reducing her risk of breast cancer.
This is quite exciting, actually. Lindsay's emailed us in. Lindsay, don't say where you're from, but Lindsay's emailed in saying, please could you tell Keith Clymo, C-L-Y-M-O, that I am sorry, I love you, and yes, I will marry you.
Oh, that's lovely.
So, Lindsay,
Keith, you've got to give us a call. Give us a call. We want to know what happened and why she wouldn't say yes initially.
GM.tv, 81189. Text us, email us if you've got an apology you'd like to make.
Or Lindsay as well, give us a call.
Excuse me. Or if you'd like
Do you
to
want to
ask
say
someone
sorry?
to marry them. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
OK. Do let us know. We want to kind of help you clear the air, as it were, before the new year starts. And with that weather forecast, well, I tell you what, it doesn't look good back here, does it?
Does it?
Would you want to win our competition this morning? This could be your chance to win some sun, sea and sand or £10,000 cash, guaranteed to clear up any little rows.
Yes, one or two here or there. Jackie Joseph is in South Africa.
Good morning. Now come about an hour's drive out of Cape Town. There you can see Table Mountain behind me. Now this is the wine region of Stellenbosch. More about that later. Now this is a must-see if you come to this part of the world, and you can if you enter today's competition. We are giving you the chance to win 10 nights at the 5-star Bay Hotel at Camps Bay, Cape Town, courtesy of Sunset Faraway Holidays. It's only 10 minutes from the city centre and has 4 swimming pools and a fitness centre, plus tennis and squash courts and a skin and body centre. There are also 3 restaurants. On top of all of that, we are giving you £2,000 spending money. The prize is for 4 adults and includes direct flights, airport transfers and departure taxes. Travel restrictions apply.
Now, if you don't fancy sun, sea and sand, how about 10 grand in the hand? The choice is yours. It's either the holiday or £10,000. And to be in with a chance of winning either of these fantastic prizes, all you have to do is answer this question.
What do people traditionally do at New Year and try to keep for the rest of the year? Is it A, resolutions, B, reservations, or C, revaluations?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
So get dialing and good luck. Now it's time for the 5 S's. Study, swirl, sniff, sip and swallow. And here to help me out is Cedric from the Sinelberg Wine Estate. Now tell me about this red wine first.
A Roland's Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon 2003 vintage, plummy, blackcurranty on the nose and a smooth aftertaste.
It smells lovely. Nice? Excellent. Now what about the rosé? It looks very dark.
It's 90% Cabernet Sauvignon and 10% Muscat d'Alexandrie. Raisins on the nose, raisin fruits.
Oh, yeah.
Easy drinking, light-style rosé wine. Nice and summer.
Oh, very easy drinking, Cedric. I'll have 10 bottles, I think. I'll see you later. That's fantastic.
Beautiful, beautiful
wonderful.
country. The lines close at 9 o'clock this morning. We're going to pick the winner at the end of the show.
OK, then. Now, listen, we've got loads and loads and loads of sorries coming in from you. Keep them coming in.
Everyone's been very bad.
This is great. I love this. Sorry for everything, Glyn, Tanya. Sorry for everything, Nigel, Sheila. There's about 10 sorry for everything. Someone's done something awfully wrong.
We've had another one. Katie from Stoke. Mo, I'm sorry. Will you marry me?
Can we bring love and peace for the whole 2007?
It's quite exciting and powerful position we're in right now.
Let us have your sorrows, and we want to hear maybe what went wrong as well. Give us a taster.
And also what are you doing this new year as well, maybe what your New Year's resolutions are. We're going to be finding out what our celebs are going to be doing over Hogmanay, and it's not going to be down the local with us lot, believe me.
Our celebs? We know them personally, do we? They're part of the GMTV family?
The greater British family.
OK. All right, stay tuned and find out how you can make up for all those rows.
Angela, I want to apologise for staying out till 5 in the morning and having a little bit too much to drink and then staying in bed till about 5 o'clock the next day.
Hi there. Now, A-listers celebrate just like the rest of us. And with New Year coming up, Ross King's in Hollywood to tell us what they'll all be up to. What are you doing?
Oh, do you celebrate like an A-lister?
Celebrate like it's 1999, I do.
Sorry, Ross, we're just having a bit of a domestic.
He's tried to claim that I have no credibility to be able to talk about A-listers, and he has got a point. You, however, know them all.
Well, I do. Actually, I'm going to celebrate. This is going to sound very Hollywoody. I've actually opened a restaurant, and it opens on Hogmanay.
Is it Planet King?
It's called The Village Idiot. Wonder who it's named after.
Oh, very good. I like it.
Seen from over here for a while. So, go on, tell us about the restaurant. It's much more interesting.
Oh no! The restaurant. It's all fun. And whenever you come out, you know, mention my name, get a good seat, and that's just in the loo, so you'll be all right then. Let me talk about the real celebs, though. Well, of course, they were in Costa Rica earlier on. They were handing out Christmas presents on Christmas Day itself to the Colombian war refugees. We are, of course, talking about Angelina and Brad. Now, apparently they like Costa Rica so much that they're continuing to stay there. They're going to be there at the wonderfully plush Four Seasons Resort. The good news is that the kids are joining them this time, so they've got the 3 kids with them, and in true Hollywood style, they've got a nanny with them and a special chef. However, I do have to say, in not true Hollywood style, a lot of celebs tend to have a nanny for each of their children, so actually I think they're pretty normal. Also, apparently they've checked in under the name of the Blacks, and for those of you who remember, Brad Pitt was in Meet Joe Black, and if you ever want to stalk a celeb, that's one of their favourite tricks. They always like to check into hotels under the name of one of their most famous and favourite characters, so now you know how to stalk them.
So will you be checking into your hotel as Mr. and Mrs. Extra Factor?
That's
or Mr. and Mrs. GMTV?
Probably something very similar to that, I should imagine.
Look out for that if you're... I won't say where you are, just in case they come looking for you. So any British celebs about?
Yeah, we've got loads of British. Actually, I've got to tell you as well, Paris Hilton. It's the opening of an envelope or the fridge door, whatever it may well be. She's actually in Sydney, Australia, Bondi Beach. She's hosting a big bash. I actually saw her in her Louis Vuitton bikini, just soaking herself on the beach. Funnily enough, just to get more pictures done. But the Brits, yeah, Barbados still the big place for all the Brits to go. Jemima Khan there, along with the wonderful Hugh Grant. Plus, also here, Michael Winner. Michael Winner is a... Why did my Michael Winner impression there suddenly sound like Arthur? I'm really going to have to brush up on them. I apologise right now. I apologise. And Simon Cowell, one of the nicest men in show business, I've got to say. I have actually known the man since I was 16 years old, and he's sunning himself in Barbados with the equally lovely Terry Seymour. So that's where the Brits are going. Barbados still one of those places. Still to come, more I have for you. And a couple of little secret ones that I will slip in, plus actually a couple of hot Hollywood celebs who almost got burned in a fire. There's more of that all to come later.
Wow.
He's got a lot for
Busy New Year for Ross as well. Good luck with the opening of the restaurant, Ross. Obviously,
thank you very much
indeed. Get out there, find out more about that.
And maybe we can find out why he would know Simon Cowell when he was 16 a bit later on.
Yeah.
There must be... there is a story.
There was an hour in the year there.
Yes,
Now, look, the weather is going to be rubbish. It's so bad, Claire's decided to sit on the sofa and do it from sitting over here.
You've got a lot to answer for, young lady.
I've just been told off by Ben Shepherd.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
It's quite scary.
I know.
She never gives us what we want.
No, you
New
don't.
Year, what do we want? We
She
just
does
want some
sometimes.
Yeah.
When?
Christmas party.
Oh, yes.
Right, off you go. Do the weather.
She's very giving at the Christmas party,
Shall I
aren't
go
you?
over? We can talk about it. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheerio.
Yeah.
And so for the north of England and North Wales, we'll have
GMTV weather, sponsored by Nestle Cereals. Whole grain for the whole family every morning.
Hello. Hello, good morning. That's New Year's Day, actually. I haven't changed my graphic, but you can see it's getting better on New Year's Day, Ben. You can see there, sunshine and showers, still a bit breezy, but at least there'll be some sunshine. Not the case this morning, or in fact, tomorrow or the next day. Seeing a massive cloud coming in across much of the UK. It's bringing with it some outbreaks of rain and some strong winds. It's going to be raining for much of the day across some parts of the country. At least, though, it's not the heavy rain we saw about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but that's to come tonight. So above me, you can see a lot of thick cloud, and below me, that rain making inroads across those western areas of the country, Northern Ireland, Wales, as well as the West Country. And then also associated with this will be some gale force winds. So it's a pretty nasty start to the day across these western zones here. And in fact, in the east, you'll see more cloud, and then the rain slowly moves across. That means by the afternoon it's confined to the far north of Scotland. Most of us seeing sunshine and showers. We hang on to more rain though across the south, so if you are heading out this afternoon it's not going to be particularly pleasant, and it is going to be windy everywhere. The only consolation though, double figures, temperatures will be on the mild side. And then tonight another batch of cloud and rain comes in. We're talking gale force winds, gusts up to probably 60, 70, perhaps even 80 miles an hour. The zone of most concern is Ireland as well as northwest England up towards Scotland here. And so strong winds for a time, but again, because the wind and the weather is moving so quickly, it will move off the scene through the early hours of the morning. And that means most of us tomorrow seeing some drier weather, some showers, away from the southwest of England as well as southern parts of Wales, where another area of cloud and rain will move in, and it's going to be skirting across southern areas, and in fact associated with that again in gale force winds. Elsewhere it really is a case of sunshine and showers. Favoured spots will be eastern Scotland, northeast in England, and temperatures again on the mild side. New Year's Eve then, rain through the day, heavy rain at times. The rain will clear, and that's when the winds will pick up even further. It means gusts up to probably 60, 70, 80 miles an hour across Northern Ireland. This zone here around, well, this is 9 o'clock to around midnight. Northern counties of England seeing showers, clear spells, and also those strong winds, damaging gusts. You can see branches on the roads, poor visibility and heavy showers, and a similar situation for parts of Wales. It's going to be windy wherever you are, gale force winds, and we hang on to the rain across southern and eastern areas of England, down towards the West Country as well. At least, though, it will be mild, so you will need to take something for the wet weather, but not for the cold weather. Here's your summary. Get a 5-day weather update for your postcode on our website, gm.tv.
Now then, it seems that lots of you have things to be sorry for over what you might have said or your behaviour over Christmas to your nearest and dearest. Stay with us and find out how we can help you apologise. 81189 gm.tv. Anything you want us to apologise for, we're here for you this morning.
OK, that's all after a news update from Amanda.
Kate, thank you. Good morning. And as Claire has just been telling us, wild weather is expected to sweep across large parts of the country in the run-up to New Year's Eve. The news comes as hundreds of thousands of people are jetting away to the sun for their New Year's Eve holidays. Well, Matt Arnold is at Manchester Airport for us this morning. Good morning to you, Matt. So some lucky ones escaping then?
Absolutely the case, Amanda. It's bitterly cold here at Manchester Airport this morning. Just come across the road. This is where all the people are checking in here to get away for this New Year's break. ABTA are telling us that 500,000 people in the country are going away for New Year, and that's on top of the 3 million that were already set to depart these shores over the Christmas break. But as Claire's been saying in the weather, it's going to be really, really bitter, lashing with rain over the weekend, and it's going to cause some damage to temporary structures, so watch out for that. The driving conditions on the road, they're going to be awful as well, and all because of these 2 cold fronts that are expected coming in tonight and lasting all the way up to New Year's Eve. Now, it's causing problems in the skiing resorts, this bad weather, because apparently there's no snow. They're having to make their own snow for those of us who are jetting abroad to go and do a snowing holiday. But the sun resorts are the top of the list. The most popular destination is Australia. Watch out, though, in Edinburgh, because there is some doubt over the Hogmanay Festival, normally in Princes Street and at the castle with the fireworks. The organisers there are saying that they're hopeful that it can go ahead, but could be a New Year's Eve to spend indoors.
Indeed. Matt, many thanks for that. An anti-smoking campaign that uses shocking images to convey the power of cigarette addiction is being launched this morning. The TV, billboard and internet campaign is timed to hit just as people begin to think about their New Year's resolutions. It comes just months ahead of a public smoking ban in England and Wales. The police are to get more money to help them fight the threat of chemical and biological weapons. The Home Office insists the increased spending is simply a measure to ensure our police forces are fully equipped for any eventuality. It's not in response to any specific threat to public safety. Thousands of fans have lined the streets of New York to say goodbye to the godfather of soul, James Brown. His body was carried in a golden casket through Harlem to the Apollo Theatre, where he'll be on public view before being taken to his final resting place in Georgia.
It's so timeless. It will never die, and he will always live on.
Okay, thank you. And I think there's someone who is a very, very good singer here. Can I just ask you about James Brown?
Yeah, like I said, James Brown is the original. Before James, there was no funk music, there was no rap music, there was just plain vanilla music. James made it right.
And he really inspired you as well?
Oh man, I feel good, like I knew that I would.
Sarah Moore reporting there. Finally, the newest idea to keep your carpets clean. These natty shoes have vacuums built into their base, so you can clean your carpets as you walk around. Unfortunately, though, they're just a prototype and not due in the shops anytime soon. Oh, what a shame. It is 7:33. I'm back with more news at 8 o'clock. Ben and Kate will be explaining how you can say sorry straight after this break.
23 minutes to 8. It's supposed to be the season of peace and goodwill to men, but is it? It's more likely to be the season of bickering and petty squabbling. In many households, there'll have been a fair few rows over the Christmas period, and it's actually the worst time of year for breakups and family fights. Nick Dixon's been finding out more.
We've opened all the presents, eaten way too much and shopped till we dropped. So what's left of this Christmas? More than a few guilty feelings.
I just basically sat back and was quiet in the corner to avoid any conflict.
We've got a little girl, so it'd been great if I spent a bit more time with her and whatnot and helped out, I reckon. What do you reckon?
I didn't come to our house on Christmas Day, I came the next day.
You feel bad about that?
Oh yeah, really, really bad.
It's nice to hear all these Christmas confessions, but really what we need to hear are some heartfelt apologies.
Mother, I'm really sorry that I did not help out at the Christmas dinner this year, and also I only put 5 little seconds into helping you clear up.
Joanne, I'm really sorry. I should have made a lot more effort at Christmas. The turkey was my fault.
Darling wife, I'd like to sincerely apologise for not doing anything over Christmas. My heart goes out to you, but you were superb. It was a superb Christmas, and thank you very much.
And he's lazy.
So that was just men apologising, which is really bad as well. Joining us now, relationship expert Dr. Pam Spurs here. Pam, obviously there's been some... It's a very fraught time, Christmas, in terms of the pressure and the amount of people and the energy that's going on in the house. So this is bound to happen, isn't it?
Of course it is. I mean, on the whole, relationships are very fragile anyway. Just think about the, the happiest couples you know, even they'll have fallings out. So at this time of year, it becomes almost impossible for people not to let the stresses and strains affect their nearest and dearest, because really that's what we do. We take it out on those that supposedly we love the most.
We did talk about, before we hit Christmas, we did talk about trying to diffuse the situation, but it doesn't matter how hard you try. Often it can be the smallest thing, can't it, that will just set off a big argument.
Well, it's that proverbial straw on the camel's back where, you think you're going along just fine, and although you might be angry and think, oh, like, I don't like the Christmas gift my husband gave me, what does that say about our relationship? He buys you something really boring or something, or your best girlfriend seems to have had a more fun Christmas than you. So all these things are kind of building up inside, and what we don't do is sort of at the time actually raise them, because we're big chickens when it comes to these things, and we don't actually say, I was quite hurt by the gift you bought me or whatever. Instead, it sits there brewing, and here we come to the New Year's weekend. Throw in all the booze that's going to be around this weekend, and that's when these things that have been stewing in the background sort of
really
burst
escalate.
out. Exactly.
And I understand that January is a very bad time for divorce as well, in terms of these things escalate, and it gets to the point where more divorces are sought.
Well, what happens, Ben, is people manage to get through the holidays and they think, OK, we're going to enjoy New Year's, and they don't enjoy New Year's. And more divorces are sought in January than at any other time. And so, people manage to sort of kind of keep on going, and then finally, the end of January, that's when a lot of people actually say, I can't do this anymore. And Christmas and New Year's expose the flaws in our relationship.
Well, look, we don't want this to happen, because certainly I think there seems to be a point where you can actually draw a line under these things and apologise for what we were saying today. But what would you say to people who are sitting there and they're stewing on something and they feel like something's going to happen and they just keep knocking it down and keep it under the surface?
Well, the first thing is compare notes about what your expectations are for the New Year's, because a lot of people think, oh, well, Sunday, New Year's Eve, we're going to have, we can sort this all out. You know, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be our dream New Year's. Well, check each other's expectations. Make sure they're realistic. Try and take booze out of the equation, at least, say, Sunday afternoon. A lot of people start drinking right from midday on New Year's Eve thinking, oh, it's going to be fantastic. But actually do something fun like going to a film or going to one of the fun fairs that are around the country and enjoying those things before you introduce any booze into the equation. And of course, when you're drinking, alternate with non-alcoholic drinks. The other thing is identify the hot spots, because couples who've been together for quite a few years will know that something sets them off on New Year's Eve, and actually say, let's look at the last few. Where did it go wrong? What can we do to prevent that this New Year's? As a starting point. And then I always say, get a crisis buddy along. If you've got a good friend who's actually good when you two argue, say to them, listen, we may be calling you up because things have been fraught. Please be our crisis buddy and talk us down from some horrible argument.
OK, crisis buddy, like the sound of that. Honesty, though, essentially, that's what you're saying. Just be honest with each other.
Oh, exactly. Honest, but always with a positive spin.
Right.
You know, about spinning things, you know. Say, listen, you know what we've done well this year? We've done X, Y, and Z really well. Let's make sure this weekend and the coming year we continue to do more of those things. And on the other side of things, you know, you can, as I say, raise maybe the issues that you've been feeling upset about and say, listen, I want to sort these out. You know, start with that positive, not blaming, but saying, actually, I want. You know,
OK, Pam, thank you very much. Well, obviously, it's important if you might be at home sitting there, like, regretting something you might have said or not said, maybe something you've done or haven't done the last few days. Now's your chance to say sorry. You can get it off your chest. Tell us what you've done, who you want to say sorry to, and we'll try and air as many of them as we can throughout the programme this morning.
Yes, you can email us at gm.tv or text us on 81189. I'm not sure I'd want to be a crisis buddy. Does that mean at midnight you've got somebody ringing you up?
But if it was the difference between your friends having a massive fallout and you being able to sort of calm them down?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it all worthwhile?
Don't call me.
No.
OK. Now, it's the time of year when we all make resolutions. One of the most common, of course, being to quit smoking. The government's doing its bit, it says, to help you give up the weed. It's launched a new anti-smoking campaign costing £7 million, and it's a real shocker. Have they gone a step too far? Before we play it, we should say that we've edited one of the most disturbing images, but have a look anyway.
Fine. Brilliant. All right, I'll see you on the 9th. OK, bye.
The average smoker needs over 5,000 cigarettes a year. Get unhooked. Call 0800 169 0169 or visit getunhooked.co.uk.
OK, well, it certainly makes the point that you are hooked if you smoke, and that was the edited version. I would say we took out some of the scenes which are a bit too shocking for this time in the morning. We're joined now by Robert West, Professor of Health and Psychology at University College London. What do you make of the ad?
Actually, I think they're pretty good. I think, actually, the campaigns that the Department of Health has been running over the last few years have got really quite punchy. And I think that's what's needed, because we've really got to up the ante on this. Something like 25% of the adult population in Britain smoke, and the smoking rates are going down very, very slowly. And that means that we're losing something like 100,000 of our citizens a year from smoking. So we've really got to do something, and I think this is a pretty good effort.
So what do you think psychologically works about this, where other simple, shocking ones, like we've seen in the past, where you might see, for instance, a lung that's damaged by smoking and that didn't work, and other things. What do you think will work about this?
Well, you know, I think that it resonates with a lot of smokers' experience in the here and now. It's one thing to know you're going to die from smoking later on, but it's another thing to know that, or to have it brought home to you exactly how hooked you are right now.
Yeah. And that feeling of being hooked is something that people don't like to feel, do they? You know, they don't want to feel that they are addicted and that they are hooked. OK, so so that works in terms of your thing. But the problem is that these things cost £7 million, and we know they don't work for everybody. No. Is it money well spent, do you think?
Yes, actually, I think it is. I mean, I am actually a recent convert to this, because...
What, to shocking adverts?
Well, to adverts at all. Okay. I mean, I've tended to take the view over the years that what we need is good, hard scientific evidence from proper randomised controlled trials that this, that or the other works. But actually the evidence is very strong. What you see is that when they don't run these adverts, then the rate of smoking cessation, the rate at which people try to stop smoking is like this. Run an advert, goes up. use of nicotine replacement therapies, whatever it might be, use of the stop smoking services, goes up. Don't run the advert, goes down. These things do make a difference.
Right, I suppose it brings it to the forefront of the mind, if nothing else, whereas the easiest thing to do and the best thing to do if you're smoking is to shove it out the way and not think about it.
That's right.
So if somebody was going to give up smoking in January and wanted to try and do it, what's the best way they can get themselves in the psychological frame of mind to succeed?
Well, I think all of the sort of bits have to be in place. You've really got to want to do it. There's no doubt about that. If you do it half-heartedly, it's not going to work. So you've really got to want to do it. The time has to be right. But then one of the good things about this campaign is that it's, in part of the adverts, they tell you what you can do about it. And we do have in this country something quite unique in the world, which is a national health service, stop smoking service. So they should just go to their GP, say, look, you know, I've paid my taxes, if they do pay their taxes, you know, I'm entitled to this, it's free, it's psychological support and it's medication, and it really does make a difference.
OK, very, very good advice. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
There you go. Well, in the next half an hour, if you're thinking of dieting in the new year as well as giving up smoking, we're going to be eating someone who might just inspire you. He lost 11 stone in 5 months. Find out how and why he did it at about 8:10.
But first of all, competition time. Your chance to win a holiday in the sun, or you can pick £10,000. The lucky Jackie Joseph is already there in the sunshine.
We are giving you the chance to win 10 nights at the 5-star Bay Hotel at Camps Bay, Cape Town, courtesy of Sunset Faraway Holidays. It's only 10 minutes from the city centre and has 4 swimming pools and a fitness centre, plus tennis and squash courts and a skin and body centre. There are also 3 restaurants. On top of all of that, we are giving you £2,000 spending money. The prize is for 4 adults and includes direct flights, airport transfers and departure taxes. Travel restrictions apply. Now, if you don't fancy sun, sea and sand, how about 10 grand in the hand? The choice is yours. It's either the holiday or £10,000. And to be in with a chance of winning either of these fantastic prizes, all you have to do is answer this question. What do people traditionally do at New Year and try to keep for the rest of the year? Is it A, resolutions, B, reservations, or C, revaluations?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B, or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
How would you like to eat whatever you want and still lose weight? Sound impossible? It's true. Forget about fad diets. I will teach you how to program your mind to change the way you think about food forever. Join me, Paul McKenna, soon on GMTV, and I will make you thin.
Lotus Thirst Pockets with technology, sponsors of TV Pick of the Day.
So the last one of the year.
The last pick of the day.
Apart from what we're going to do later on today.
Yeah, clearly, yes. We've still got a big finish to come to. So you've got a bone to pick with me, have you?
I was not as impressed with Dracula as you led me to believe I would be. I sat down with a box of chocolates and thought this is going to be a cracker. And about sort of 25 minutes in, I turned to Derek and said, is this a load of old rubbish or is it just me? And he agreed. And we both said, should we give Richard Arnold a call now or should we wait and attack him in the morning?
Yeah, well, you could have called me when you were out with Darcy this morning, couldn't you, at the Crack of a Sparrows? Well, I really enjoyed it.
Just to be fair, quite tired, Darcy not sleeping, maybe a little bit scratchy.
A little bit scratchy, OK, well, let's
I don't know whether I'm the bride of Dracula myself.
You will love this because it was a big hit in the cinema. I loved it. Got my mum the DVD for Christmas as well. Mrs. Henderson presents. We've got Dame Judi Dench, fresh from a run in the West End of Whoops, There Goes My Bloomers, playing a widower who's bought a theatre in the West End. She's got a novel idea on how to get box office seats on.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's the accounts. You're losing a fortune.
You mean in the show business you can be a triumph one week and a disaster the next?
I'm not certain it's worth going on.
Oh, you people make me weary. You've no courage. What I say is stick a thing out and it will come right.
I'm trying to save your finances.
I don't need your protection, thank you very much. We put on some good shows, but they're obviously not daring enough. Why don't we get rid of the clothes?
Pardon?
Let's have naked girls.
Hey!
Why has no one thought of that for this show?
GMTV.
Funny you should say that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ben Shepherd Dancers. Can you imagine? What a shocker.
I have
you
on
could
many
just have
occasions.
John Stapleton naked with a mug strategically placed behind you at all times. Would that be great?
Did anyone else just throw up in their mouth a little bit then?
I think that'd be lovely.
It's the last one of the year. We can get away with murder. The funny side of the street, taking you back to the early 80s. Do you remember when the two Bets and Fred G took Annie Walker's Rover out and about? Here you go.
Ooh.
Fred, we're moving!
Pull the handbrake on!
I've got it!
The handbrake! Pull it up! Pull it! Pull it!
I am doing!
Pull it harder!
I can't!
Pull it harder!
And we got there, and the car swiveled around, and it filled with water.
We're sinking, you know. We're up to our ankles.
Why didn't you pull the flipping handbrake up?
I did put it on! It came straight up!
And of course, Fred
I
puts her
love
down
all
in a great
that.
big cow plop. Do you remember all of that?
Yeah.
Great stuff. There's also a repeat showing of the scenes with Peter Kay. And Sally Lindsay, of course, who were best mates in real life. And of course, Peter Kay plays a chap who dates Shelley. You'll
that'd
love
be
it.
great.
Emmerdale, Bob's confessed to the crime. Here you go.
So there is something you didn't tell us before?
Yes. I couldn't tell you everything before. But, I mean, I didn't tell you everything before. And I've decided to do the right thing.
Are you here to tell us how Tom King died?
Could he be covering for someone else? He did try to fell Tom. Well, with the chamber pot, he was almost there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he try for a second time? You'll have to wait and see. It'll run and run.
All right, Richard, we're going to see you later.
I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. We can have a little look at Claire now and her lovely weather forecasts.
And so for the north of England and North Wales, we'll have...
GMTV weather, sponsored by Nestlé cereals. Whole grain for the whole family every morning.
There's nothing lovely about the weather today, Kate Garraway. It's pretty awful outside, sadly, and it's going to remain that way right the way through until the new year. Seeing a massive cloud this morning. That's bringing in some mild weather, also some rain and some strong winds, in fact, gale force winds this morning across the western side of the UK. Heading underneath the cloud, the rain's coming in from the west. It's moving quite quickly from west to east. So later on this afternoon, most of us seeing perhaps some showers away from the southeast, where it will remain wet in the far north of Scotland. So it's a wet old start to the day. You can pick up on their rain there. Mostly dry across this eastern side, but it's obviously not going to last as the rain moves its way across. It does mean we could see the rain hanging on across the southern parts of England through this afternoon, as well as the far north, and in between we'll see sunshine and showers. Watch out for the winds there, gale force winds, and that means gusty as well once the rain clears. In fact, the winds pick up even further tonight. The zone of most concern will be Ireland, northwest England, stretching up to the central lowlands, eastern areas of Scotland. But the weather over the next few days is moving very quickly, rapidly, should I say. And what that means, the rain will clear quite quickly, and there will be a time where the winds will pick up immensely, and that will cause some damage with broken branches, etc. But it will clear away as well quite quickly. And that's good news, really, because the weather's going to be pretty nasty over the next few days. Tomorrow, then, it's a case of sunshine and showers away from the far southwest. We'll see another batch of showery rain coming in, also gale force winds and skirting across southern parts of England and Wales. Elsewhere, you should see a little bit of sunshine. And again, temperatures will be on the mild side. And then New Year's Eve, it's a repeat performance, to be honest. The cloud thickening all the while. We'll see the rain come in. It's going to be a windy day, but the winds will again pick up once the rain or the significant rain has cleared. We'll see showers and clear spells through the evening. This is a snapshot of around evening time to around midnight. You can see strong winds. Winds could actually reach 60 to 80 miles an hour, and that's going to cause some damage, and it's going to cause misery on the roads with people travelling. Northern Ireland then seeing some clear skies and sunshine. Again, a gust up to around 60 to 80 miles an hour. Similar situation for Northern England. Gales wherever you are across Wales and West Country. We'll carry on seeing the rain across the southeast. That means it's going to be a wet beginning to 2007, a windy beginning to 2007 wherever you are. At least so the temperatures will be on the mild side. Here's your summary. Find out what's in store for the next 5 days on our website, gm.tv.
Good morning. Slimming for love. The dad who dieted so he could see his son grow up.
Healthy housework. Why doing the chores cuts the risk of breast cancer.
And GMTV's guide to the perfect party dress for New Year. It's a good one. That's all to come on Friday the 29th of December 2006. Yes, Yes, hello there. Good morning to you. You're watching GMTV today, and it is almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, also coming up this morning, singing to the nation, and we use the term singing loosely.
The problem now, of course, is
What is it?
to simply hold your horses.
Who could forget Penny and just
She's
the two of us?
mental.
We tried, but they're going to do it again. Who's going to be the new Penny Smith? We're going to talk to the judges, Stuart Copeland and Cece Sammy in just a bit.
There could never be another Penny Smith. Look at her. She is only one. Oh, my goodness. We could watch that all day. She's on holiday, so she won't kill me for that one. And we're also giving you another chance to win £10,000 or a holiday to South Africa in our competition.
Yeah, our top story, though, this morning. Wild weather is set to sweep large parts of the country in the run-up to New Year's Eve. Heavy rains and 80-mile-an-hour winds are being forecast in some parts of the country.
Yes, the news comes as hundreds of thousands of people are jetting away to the sun for their New Year holidays. Matt Arnold is at Manchester Airport for us this morning. I imagine there's some there who are jolly relieved they're leaving the country.
Very relieved indeed, Kate. ABTA are telling us that 500,000 people are jetting away for this New Year's Eve break, and over the whole Christmas period, it was 3 million in total. But because of all this rotten weather that we're expecting between now and New Year's Eve, watch out for temporary structures being damaged. There's some very difficult driving conditions to expect over the next 3 days, and that's all because of the 2 storm fronts that are on their way. Now, all the celebs have jetted off to the sun. We know that Michael Winner is in Barbados, for example. The Prime Minister is in Miami. Here is the McManus family. And they're heading to Doreen, his grandma. Where are you going? To Tenerife. Well, it's still pretty exotic, I reckon. What do you reckon to getting away from this awful weather we're going to get over the weekend?
The heat.
The heat is good in Tenerife.
Heat, yeah.
Julie, what about what you're going to be missing here? Is that one of the reasons that you're going away?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely.
And we've got Paul over there. I mean, tell us about why you've chosen to do a Christmas break this year.
Well, we do it every year. It's just a good time to have a break and a good time to get away. Especially with the bad weather that we normally get this time of year.
That's the answer we're looking for. That bad weather that's coming here, and you're all lucky to be escaping it. There's the girls. They're going to have a great time as well. One thing to watch out for in the Scotland area, Hogmanay. Normally fantastic celebrations in Princes Street and at Edinburgh Castle with the fireworks going off. Well, there have been some concerns that it might be, well, under the threat of the weather because of these storms and lashing winds and gales that we're expecting. The organisers are hoping that it's going to go ahead, but it seems as though it might be a good New Year's Eve to spend indoors. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much indeed. Goodness me. OK, well, we're going to get the rest of the news from Amanda now.
Kate, thank you. Good morning. Women are being told that housework can substantially cut their risk of developing breast cancer. Scientists put it down to moderate but regular exercise. Well, Rachel Harrison is in West London for us. Rachel, good morning to you. This is a serious study, isn't it?
It is. It may sound like a myth devised by a man, but absolutely, it's incredibly serious. Every year, 44,000 women in this country are diagnosed with breast cancer. More than 12,500 of those die. Now, this is the first study of its kind. It took in 218,000 women on 9 different countries, and they were monitored over a 6-year period. And they found that if they did housework, they had a 30% less chance of getting breast cancer than those who didn't. So how does it work? Well, basically, they're saying that a little bit of low-intensity workouts is better than perhaps going to the gym for an hour. And it might sound a little strange, but actually the figures do stack up. For instance, if you were going to hoover for an hour and think how many times you might pick up a vacuum in the week, you'll burn nearly 200 calories. And just think how many times you'll actually stand in front of the television, watching the television, but doing a pile of ironing. Well, that in itself will burn off 100 calories. Now, this is a serious study, and it has the support of cancer research.
General housework is good exercise. You're keeping yourself moving, you may be lifting things, you're raising your heart rate, and it shows that you don't have to pound it out on the streets or sweat it out in the gym.
Well, I have to confess, I'm not a huge fan of the gym, and I'm not a huge fan of housework, so I'm left with a bit of a dilemma.
Rachel, many thanks for that. An anti-smoking campaign that uses shocking images to convey the power of cigarette addiction is being launched this morning. The TV, billboard and internet campaign is time to hit just as people are thinking about their New Year's resolutions. It comes just months ahead of a public smoking ban in England and Wales. The police are to get more money to help them fight the threat of chemical and biological weapons. The Home Office insists the increased spending is simply a measure to ensure our police forces are fully equipped for any eventuality. It's not in response to any specific threat to public safety. And we have some breaking news now, and Saddam Hussein has been handed from US to Iraqi custody ahead of his execution. It's understood that US officials have asked his lawyer to pick up his personal effects. And we'll have more on that story as and when we get it. Overnight, thousands of fans have lined the streets of New York to pay their respects to the legendary soul singer James Brown. He died earlier this week, while Sarah Moore is in New York for us. Morning to you, Sarah. Really amazing scenes there.
Absolutely, Amanda. It was incredible. Thousands of people lined the streets so they could pay their respects to James Brown. They watched as his body arrived on a horse-drawn carriage that was taken into the Apollo Theatre in Harlem, where he began his career more than 40 years earlier. The fans were queuing for up to 8 hours so they could go in and have one last look at the godfather of soul.
His music is so timeless. It will never die, and he will always live on.
Great, thank you. And I think there's someone who is a very, very good singer here. Can I just ask you about James Brown?
Yeah, like I said, James Brown is the original. Before James, there was no funk music. There was no rap music. There was just plain vanilla music. James made it right.
And he really inspired you as well?
Oh, man, I feel good, like I knew that I would.
And from that singing, you can see what the atmosphere was like. Everyone wanted to sing, dance, to celebrate his life. His body will be taken back home to his home in Georgia later today for his family to have a private ceremony.
Sarah, many thanks. Finally, the newest idea to keep your carpets clean. These natty shoes have vacuums built into their base, so you can clean your carpets as you're walking around. Unfortunately, though, they're just a prototype and not due in the shops anytime soon. That brings the time now to 6 minutes past 8. That's your news this morning. A very happy new year to you. Here's Kate and Ben.
Thanks very much, Amanda. Now then, has there been peace and goodwill in your house over Christmas? Or, like most of us, had you had the odd argument as well? This is the question we're asking you this morning.
Yes, I know. And I thought that actually we wouldn't get much of a response on this because I thought people were generally rather nice. It was just me that was in a bad mood. But apparently you're all miserable too. We've had loads and loads of people wanting to say sorry. And if you're regretting something you've said or done in the last few days, then now's your chance to get it off your chest.
Yeah,
Make
you can
peace.
Absolutely just clear the air once more before the new year starts. We want you to let us know what you've said, maybe who it was to, and why you want to say sorry to them, and we'll try and air as many as you can. As you can see, they're scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can email us at gm.tv, or you can text us on 81189. Ricky, to my darling Kim, I'm sorry I went out on Christmas night without you. An anonymous one, which is slightly sad, to my two beautiful boys. Sorry you did not get a new daddy for Christmas.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
Hey, you never know what 2007 will bring.
Exactly. Let's clear the air, end on a happy note, 2006, and start afresh in 2007. Get in touch with us. Let's check what's happening where you are this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News from ITV Granada. First, bad weather is expected to hamper the investigation into the helicopter crash which killed 6 men and left 1 missing in Morecambe Bay. It's now 36 hours since a mass rescue operation was launched for the craft, which ditched into the sea just 500 yards short of the gas rig where it was about to land. 6 victims have been named, including pilots Simon Foddering from Preston and Stephen Potton from Blackpool. The 7th, Keith Smith, still hasn't been found, and with worsening weather, rescue services say there's little chance of him being found alive.
It's very distressing, you know, you feel for the families. And what we really wanted to do is either bring him back or lay them to rest.
A Manchester man will appear in court today accused of taking part in the genocide in Rwanda more than 10 years ago. Emmanuel Ntezi Raya was arrested in the city last night following a request from the Rwandan government for his extradition. He's among 4 men who will appear before magistrates in London. Police are still questioning a man over a fatal car crash in Manchester on Christmas Day. 22-year-old Dominic Gill was a passenger in a car that crashed into a lamppost on Lathbury Road in Moston. He died in hospital on Boxing Day. A 21-year-old man from Chadderton has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Finally, Christmas isn't even over and people in Liverpool are already preparing for their next big party. The city will celebrate its 800th birthday in 2007 with a year-long programme of concerts, exhibitions and festivals. St George's Hall will be reopened after a £23 million makeover, and there'll also be an historical pageant, one of the world's largest fireworks displays and street parties.
That 800 years has not only seen the growth of a city from a small fishing port to, at the time, the second city of the then British Empire. And there've been an amazing history, not only contemporary people, but throughout the life of this city, there've been some amazing people who've not only shaped the city, but shaped the world in all sorts of spheres, from, you know, from medicine to the arts.
That's it so far this morning, but we will be back with you again at 2:45 this afternoon. Time now for a quick look at the region's weather.
Relief for dry, chapped hands when they need it most. Nivea Hand SOS Intensive Balm.
A cloudy and damp start with rain becoming heavy across all areas by lunchtime. This afternoon remaining wet, though turning showery eventually with some sunny spells breaking through. Highs of 11 Celsius, that's 52 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hi there. Now, last Christmas, Lee Powell had a very unhealthy future ahead of him. He weighed a hefty 28 stones and was told by doctors he'd be dead in 10 years if he didn't shed that weight. But then his partner, Karen, gave him the best Christmas present of all. She told him the news that the couple were expecting their first baby, and it prompted Lee to go on a diet, and he lost a staggering 11 stone. Well, Lee and Karen and their 5-month-old baby son, Ryan, join us now, and Ryan's already won the heart of Ben Lyon this morning. You're going to get very little attention out of us. But Lee, it's an enormous achievement. I mean, it's so good. So why was it that moment that you thought, right, I'm going to do it?
I've always been a big boy all my life, and I was kidding myself. I was thinking I weren't that big, really, but it got to a point now when Karen told me that she was expecting our first child. I thought, oh, I want to be a fit father. I want to be there to see it, to be there to see him grow up, really.
Right.
And just from that day on, something clicked to me, and I knew I'd have to change.
And they always say that the mental decision, the psychological decision to change is the big one.
Yeah.
But I would also say that the actual physical achievement of losing the weight is a huge thing as well. I mean, how did you tackle it?
It was really tough. When Karen was pregnant, when she gave birth to Ryan, we had a bit of a rough time, we got to have emergency cesarean.
Yeah.
And I work shift work, I work quite long hours.
That's hard as well to think
Yeah,
about,
definitely.
Isn't it?
So it was the training more than anything.
Right.
My diet was sort of low carbs.
Right.
I cut down on my bread. The only bread I was eating was like Bergen bread, whole meal bread.
Right.
Cut out pasta. It was all wholemeal.
Right. And lots of veg.
And,
Fish
and
chicken.
Yeah.
And fair play to Karen, she was marvellous. She was doing most of the cooking. And
Yeah, so you'd obviously watched him, as you say, he was always a big lad, but it got bigger and bigger. Were you already worried about his health?
I couldn't see it, to be honest, because looking at that photo there at the time, I didn't realise how big he was, and this was.
How big was he when you first met?
He's quite a big boy. I'm not. He wouldn't tell me. He wouldn't tell me how much he weighed exactly.
But he was a big lad when you met him.
Yes.
So you didn't notice him getting bigger.
No,
he wasn't like he sort of piled on the pounds.
No. No.
So obviously he dramatically changed. You lost 11 stone.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
You're hoping to lose some more as well.
I'd like to get down to about 15 stone is my ideal weight. Me and Karen are getting married now in the March.
Oh.
So yeah, we get the 15 big strapping dad. Yeah. Oh.
Look at Ryan, looking at his dad. Gosh, that look must be worth $1 million to you. Look at that. That's
what
true love.
That's my inspiration,
so that's what it's all for. And do you feel fitter and healthier?
I feel great. I went on a 5-mile fun run on Boxing Day for charity.
Good for you.
And it took me about 44 minutes.
Yeah.
Where probably last year would have took me 44 days.
Yeah,
I think, yeah. So I want to get back playing rugby, which I love. Being 28 stone, where I used to be 28 stone, playing rugby's no good, on my knees and the old heart as well.
Gosh, you must have been formidable charging towards you at 28
Well, that was,
stone,
it was. But the thing is, I couldn't run 5 yards without being out of breath, But now I'm running on average, I can run about 6-7 miles.
Great.
No problem.
That'd be awesome. You'd be an awesome addition to a team. But for you, Karen, as well, you've got a new husband. I mean, it's so dramatic, the weight loss. Is that quite strange, sort of, when you catch him walking past and he's this slim guy?
Yes, yeah. It's, seeing old photos, I just can't get over the change in him, you know. It's, and he's worked really hard for it. He deserved it.
Good for
Coming
you.
in from work and then going the training and then sticking rigidly to the diet, you know.
At it.
Yeah,
It's
all on his
so
own.
difficult. I mean, there's going to be lots of people, as you can imagine, the time of year that it is,
Oh,
who will be, you know,
definitely.
January the 1st, starting the New Year's resolutions, wanting to lose weight. What would you say to them?
Just keep at it.
Never
as a
give up.
very wise person once told me, never give up.
Never
Always
give up.
strive. You know, there's going to be times you're allowed to have a treat. I let myself have a treat once a week.
What was
whether it
your
be
treat?
a Chinese or, you know, I'm quite hooked on Subways now, you know, the Subway sandwiches.
Sandwiches,
They're not too bad, but yeah, if you're gonna go off the track a little bit, don't beat yourself up about it. Just put that extra, 20 minutes in the gym the next day.
Yeah.
You know, then, you know, because I love my training. If I don't train, I'm quite moody, and you know,
Yes,
I'm real addicted to training now. I just love it. It's brilliant, it is.
He's a lot happier as well, and running up and down the stairs, you know, instead of getting out of breath and, well, rolling around on the floor with Ryan. And
as soon as Ryan starts crawling and walking as well, it changes again. You're
over the park on his bike, that's what it's done for.
The Kim, he's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I tell you what, you're the best advert, I think. You're a very good person to come on at this time of year, because everybody's going to be wanting to follow in your footsteps. And if we could end up with a little person like you, quite right too. Quite right too. You have your say. Lovely to meet all three of you.
Good luck for the year with the wedding and losing those last few stone as well.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I love Ryan's little jumper.
Beautiful little tank top. They are cute. Right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, singing for their supper. Obviously a low-carb supper. Penny did it, sort of, but who's going to be the dark horse of the new series of Just the Two of Us? They're doing it all over again. We're talking to the judges Stuart Copeland and Cece Sowie straight after the break.
For feeling so lonely. This could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last
Hi there, it's 8:20. These are the main headlines you're waking up to this morning. Within the last half an hour, it's been reported that Saddam Hussein has been handed over to Iraqi custody ahead of his execution. It's understood officials have asked the former dictator's lawyer to pick up his personal effects. An American TV network has been told the hanging will happen this weekend.
Housework can reduce the risk of cancer. The findings come from a large-scale study of women from 9 countries, particularly looking at breast cancer.
And today's weather, all parts will have a wet and windy day with rain and strong winds across the most of the country. Temperatures will peak at 13 degrees Celsius.
So if you want to get away from all that and enter our competition, then there's good news, because you could win some sun, sea and sand, or you could choose £10,000.
Here's Jackie Joseph with the details.
Good morning from Cape Town. Now, one of the things you should do if you're ever in this part of the world is sample the food. And I'm really pleased to be joined this morning by Mornay Bota, who's already cooking up a storm. Mornay, first of all, what is this?
That's ostrich.
Ostrich?
Ostrich. Not just about wearing the feathers, but actually eat the meat as well.
Yeah, what's so special about it?
99% fat-free, it's got no cholesterol.
Can't be bad.
Yeah.
And then what about all of these?
These are all very African flavours, African tastes.
Great, well, we'll talk more about that later. While we get on with cooking, why don't you take a look at today's competition? We are giving you the chance to win 10 nights at the 5-star Bay Hotel at Camps Bay, Cape Town, courtesy of Sunset Faraway Holidays. It's only 10 minutes from the city centre and has 4 swimming pools and a fitness centre, plus tennis and squash courts and a skin and body centre. There are also 3 restaurants. On top of all of that, we are giving you £2,000 spending money. The prize is for 4 adults and includes direct flights, airport transfers and departure taxes. Travel restrictions apply. And if you don't fancy sun, sea and sand, then how about 10 grand in the hand? The choice is yours. It's the holiday or the cash. And to be in with a chance of winning either of these fabulous prizes, all you have to do is answer this question. What do people traditionally do at New Year and try to keep for the rest of the year? Is it A, resolutions, B, reservations, or C, revaluations?
You can dial 09068 100 100. That's 09068 100 100. Or you can text A, B, or C as your answer, plus your name and full address to 81149. Or you can enter via the website.
So get dialing and good luck. And feast your eyes on this. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Now, what Mornay's done, he's pan-fried the ostrich, and he's got his African ingredients underneath, and they're here. So tell me what this is.
It's marog, which is a wild spinach with a peppery flavour.
And that one?
Waterblommetjies, like water lily flower.
Yeah, and obviously we've got the plum tomatoes. And then that?
Sampan beans, or the African name of it's soup.
Well, I'm not even going to attempt to say that, but I will taste this. Looks fabulous. It tastes like a lighter version of beef. That's lovely. And I'll wash it down
with a bit of Shiraz.
With some Shiraz. Fantastic. That's
Cheers.
lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, that looks good. Now, get your entries in by 9 o'clock this morning, and we're going to pick a winner before the end of the show.
Now then, as you all know, some presenters will do almost anything to get on telly. Have a look at this.
The problem now, of course, is
What is it?
to simply hold your horses. Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. This could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know.
Fortunately, it was the last time. But if that didn't put you off, you'll be thrilled to hear that the Duet Singing Showdown is back for a second series starting next week. So who better to give us a lowdown on the new batch of contestants or victims? The two of the judges, Stuart Copeland and Cece Sammy. Hi, guys. Thank you for coming in. That was, I imagine, Stuart, for you as an introduction into in the world of live entertainment, UK, British style. Penny was quite an experience last year.
She was an experience, but it really opened up, it really illuminated the great heart of the British people. They couldn't care less that she can't sing worth a darn, but the love that just gushes out of her heart ignited the passions of the great British people, and they fell in love with her, and us stern-faced judges, there was nothing we could do to dislodge this woman with her painful voice, but her wonderful personality.
And that's one of the things as well.